everyone. This is your main speaker, Alex. Call me Burjay or Burry. I will be your main solo speaker. I don't have any guests at all. This is the 10th episode of the Burry Weird podcast. By the way, I have been busy doing other things. I want to appreciate the people that support this podcast. Thank you to those who have been listening to me because it means a lot. By the way, I will upload the next episode about some real life situations. This is after the 10th episode. The next episode is not about pop culture and internet culture. It is a social media trend because people enjoy this on social media. You will see what happens in the next episode. I want to go over this because I want to talk about this. I have been paying attention to this story for a couple days. This has been trending on the internet, but this has been a serious issue for a lot of people. Let's talk about Jeff Bezos stepping down from Amazon as CEO and Amazon being sued for stealing tips from employees. Yeah, what's unpleasant with Amazon? What is not bad news with Amazon? I mean, Amazon has been consistently bad news for several years. They are always the center of controversy. Why are they not the center of controversy? This comes down to having millions of employees working for Amazon and the way they pay their employees. Their working environment has gotten worse before the pandemic. That is as far as I know. I figured that part out. I want to add a disclaimer because I want to make this clear. I'm not an expert in anything. This is not about generalizing anything at all. That's what I have for this episode. I just want to make this clear. I apologize if I do not say the most correct things. But I have my stuff together since I have so much to deliver to you guys. I have an update about the previous episodes that I recorded. It is about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. It has been reported that Kanye West is done with the marriage. He wants to move forward. So does Kim. Kim Kardashian is done with the marriage. Kanye is making this very urgent and he is salty about this. He wants it to be done. The reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians will air in its final season on March 18th. I don't know if the date is right. I hope it is. My thing is, why would anyone care about the show? I don't watch the show and I never invest the time to watch it because I never see it as entertaining. All the show is not about, family gathering together. It's always about hustling. No one wants to watch you work all day in your garage of a store, not a garage where you can't manage your own orders. No one cares how much you are going to get your nails done and be concerned about looking good, let alone cosmetic procedures. It would be laughable if Keeping Up with the Kardashians was deleted off of Netflix and Hulu. I also wonder what the ratings are. I call it karma. The only reason why I would watch it is because of family drama. I don't watch the full episodes. Let's not forget that Kourtney and Kim got into a physical altercation last year in 2020. I remember how much that drama was trending. I guess people fell for the hype and want to roast the hell out of Kim and Khloe and the entire family. Maybe not Kourtney. I guess that no one could talk about Kanye because maybe he does not want to be a part of it. It's okay. I can't blame him at all. He's just like, I'm done with the family. I will cut you off. I saw both of them bawling their eyes out and they were angry with each other. They were putting their hands on each other, slapping each other. I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying that it's funny to see drama escalate, especially if it's your family. I know the argument has something to do with getting involved in work when family is included. Let's talk about Jeff Bezos stepping down as CEO. Everyone knows who Jeff Bezos is. If you don't know who he is, then I'm very surprised. I don't know if I should blame you for not knowing Jeff Bezos because he is always bad news. The more you know about him, the more you will be aggravated. It has been reported that Jeff Bezos will be transitioning to the executive chairman of the company, Andy Jassy. Once I heard his name, I was like, that's a weird name. Jazzy as a last name. I don't know anyone whose last name is Jazzy. Jazzy would be a good first name. Name it Jazz as the first name. When I first heard it, I thought that the name was made up. Part of me thought that it was a nickname. Anyways, Andy Jassy is the one that is currently in charge of Amazon Web Services. Personally, I never used Amazon Web Services at all. I wish that I did know that existed earlier. Amazon Web Services have clients that are very well known. That includes BP, Expedia, Time. Kellogg's, Philips, General Electric, and other well-known companies. If you want to create a website through Amazon Web Services, there is a free trial. Then you have to pay a subscription if you want to keep using it. That is what I checked. Jeff Bezos is the one that spoke highly of Andy and said he is an outstanding leader with lots of confidence. Bezos believed that he can run Amazon as the CEO. He also released a statement leaving. Bezos will be the company's executive chairman. By the way, he's not quitting Amazon at all. He will be pursuing other ventures. When I initially heard this, I assumed that he was gonna stop working for Amazon. I was like, "Where are you going? Is he gonna rest without working with all of the money he has in his banking accounts? Is he retiring?" I thought that he did not want anything to do with Amazon anymore. Those were my assumptions. I was wondering, why are you stepping down as CEO for Amazon? I have been paying attention to Jeff Bezos on and off. He's heading to his philanthropic journey. He still has power as a rich man. I don't like to say at all. Elon Musk is the first richest man in the world at this point. Jeff Bezos is the second richest man in the world. That's right now. He's still the shareholder of Amazon. Then I found out that it was something else. In general, the CEOs are going to be fine. At least they have something to lay back on, including Jeff Bezos. I feel that I have some suspicions when it comes to Jeff Bezos stepping down. He now intends to focus more on such innovation along with other ventures such as his rocket ship company Blue Origin and his newspaper. By the way, he is part of Washington Post. I'm surprised to hear him pursue that type of venture. I will talk about his ventures a little bit, but I have some thoughts about it. He gives me Elon Musk vibes because it sounds like he's into vehicles. I never saw that Jeff Bezos is interested in vehicles. He got a divorce. Let's not forget that part. His ex-wife was paid $38 million. I'm sorry, $38 billion. I believe that it's from spousal support. I'm confident to say that it's far and it did not hurt him that much. Everyone loves Amazon. It's not a secret that he was doing something behind the scenes. It's not that he is leaving Amazon at all. Let's not get it twisted. I feel that this is so suspicious. I, it can be about how he treated employees. He's never the first person to step down as CEO and still be involved with the company. It reminds me of Bill Gates leaving Microsoft worth $1 trillion. I heard that Bezos might run for president. I will go over that part later. I would not feel safe for him to run for president. Sorry, that's not happening. I don't know where that's coming from. I feel that he would want to run for president. He sounds very unstoppable. Tax money is not used efficiently, not letting workers take days off for personal reasons. My thing is, if Andy Jassy takes over as CEO, who's going to take over the role for Amazon Web Services? Amazon is one of the most valuable companies. Bezos remains one of the main largest shareholders of Amazon. That is what's being reported. Let's not forget that Bezos is one of the richest men in the world. I can't hate on him for working hard. At the same time, I'm not defending him at all. I doubt that he will leave Amazon. It has been reported that Amazon Web Services made up just 12% of Amazon sales last year, but accounted for more than half of the company's profit. Andy Jassy has been at Amazon since 1997, nearly as long as Bezos himself. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage in 1994 as a way to sell books online. When he was 26 years old, as CEO, he transformed the company into multiple industries such as e-commerce, web services, logistics, robotics, groceries, media, and other things. Before the pandemic hit, it was very clear that Bezos had spent several years mostly focused on long-term projects. Jeff Bezos started from the bottom and made it to the top. Amazon Web Services is one of the biggest companies in the world. 1997 is my birth year. My birthday already passed. I thought that this is weird because no one ever thought about it. I feel that he has no genuine interest in spaceships. That's just me. Will NASA consider Jeff Bezos credible? Is he working with people who have experience with building spaceships and rocket ships? Everything is competing with Amazon. I mean Target, Walmart, IKEA, Ashley's Furniture, Samsung, Albertson. Sam's Club, and Costco, you name it. He may be well known, but he gets a lot of hate, so screw him. I get that. It has been the next bookstore, it's competing with Barnes& and Noble. Amazon has its own grocery store, it has its own clothing marketplaces. Let's talk about how let's talk about how much Jeff Bezos makes in a second. It's been reported that Bezos makes more money per second than the typical US worker makes in a week. Since mid-October 2019, Bezos' fortune has grown by $80 billion. Based on the year-over-year change in his net worth, Bezos made $152,207 per minute and $2,537 per second. I did not understand his climate change ideas. He's not the best person for startup ideas. I prefer Google than Jeff Bezos for some ideas. Google has millions of ideas, so Jeff Bezos is not Google. I would never go to Jeff Bezos for startup ideas, especially if I want to start my own company. That would not be the idea I want from someone who doesn't care about their reputation. Then I could ruin my own reputation as well. I would like to see an Amazon alternative top Amazon if they were to treat their workers well and provide a safe workplace environment, let alone pay these employees. Don't play with my money. I would not take him seriously as a mentor if I want to be a CEO of building my own company, let alone be an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a boss. You can pursue the idea of running your own brand or a small business as long as you know the passion is there. Your passion should be the one to drive you to do bigger and better things. It could have been selling mobile phones that would be completely better than Apple phones or Android phones. I can see him expanding his own startup idea to sell custom branded electronics. Even if he was doing philanthropy, it means nothing because his reputation is already ruined. He is creating a distraction so people would not think about the bad stuff about him. I'm not buying the idea of Jeff Bezos running for president. He has been bad news already. He is soulless. He's caught stealing tips. I will talk about the tips later in this episode. That's theft. Jeff Bezos released a statement about stepping down as CEO for Amazon. I don't think that he cares about his reputation. I doubt that things will change. Stealing tips from employees is the most pathetic thing a company like Amazon could possibly do. I cannot feel bad for Amazon to be sued for approximately for $62 million. I would be mad if I had to work during the pandemic. Why would it be a smart idea to work during the pandemic? If I was in that position, I would quit for the sake of my own health. Nothing else should matter. This is the prime example about how capitalism operates. This is the prime reason why people are against capitalism. Capitalism is the most unlikable system that has been put in place. Amazon is very robotic. It has technology that does the work for them. Of course, Amazon will have manual workers. I don't consider him to be a qualified person to be running for president. It's crazy that people think that's okay. I bet that people are going to disagree with me because they like someone that is corporate, someone that is rich. You like someone who has lots of money. Jeff Bezos is obviously rich and corporate. He does not seem to respect unions. That's why he's very unlikable. If you know that he doesn't respect unions, what makes you think that he respects the regular working people, the people that have to work from the bottom and make it to the top? He does not know me at all. I don't care if he likes me or not. I don't look up to him as a businessman. He already made it to the top. I like people who are humble. I admire people who never forgets where they come from. He does not seem to fit that category anymore. I don't like people who don't know how to be humble. If he was to be humble, then money would not mean anything. The rich billionaire and trillionaire status would not be significant. That's not something that I would like to be known for. I feel that it was not addressed because it has been going on for several years. There are several articles about it. If people think that Jeff Bezos is this decent person, then people are not updating themselves about him. They are the same people that pretend that he has done nothing wrong. In other words, they are just defending his actions, so I'm not going to agree with it at all. Jeff Bezos buying a nine-figure dollar home does not rub me the wrong way. I can imagine that his house is expensive. I'm sure that he can afford a billion-dollar home. Okay, I doubt that he would be a six-figure person again. It's just what he's doing that is hurting the economy. That is how much a less of a person he is. I do not see him as a humble person at all. The idea of making $10,000 per second is a lot. Page left the company until 2001 when Eric Schmidt was brought in as adult supervision, but Page stepped back in as CEO in 2011. Let's talk about how Jeff Bezos is never the first person to step down as CEO from the company that he built. This happened with Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Steve Jobs left Apple in early 2011 as his health deteriorated. The role was taken over by CEO Tim Cook. He was still technically an employee being paid $50 per week. That was Wozniak, who left Apple in 1985. He started multiple companies. Most recently, he launched a cryptocurrency business that helps companies raise money for eco-friendly projects. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is working on global health initiatives through his philanthropy. Bill Gates and Paul Allen co-founded Microsoft in 1975. By the time Gates stepped down as CEO in 2000, he helped build the company in such a dominant player in the tech industry that it became the subject of one of the biggest antitrust cases ever. Bill Gates stayed on the company's board until March 2020. He currently focuses full-time on his philanthropic work for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. For years, Gates has focused on global health and warned about the dangers of pandemics, and the Gates Foundation has poured $1.75 billion into coronavirus-related causes. Former Google co-founder Larry Page is working on secretive flying car startups. Larry Page and Sergey Brin founded Google in 1998. He eventually became the CEO of its parent company Alphabet in 2015. Page and Brin stepped down as Alphabet's CEO and president in December 2019. Sundar Pichai took over as Google CEO. Larry Page focused mostly on his investments in flying car startups Z. Since he stepped down as CEO from Amazon, I'm talking about Jeff Bezos. I feel that he would step down as CEO for a spaceship company. He will still remain a shareholder and executive chairman for a spaceship creation company. I can see him competing with other tech CEOs for modernizing vehicles. I can see him competing with Elon Musk. I can see him competing with the CEO of Apple and Samsung products. The idea for Jeff Bezos to modernize spaceships is very strange to me. I also wonder if NASA will want to work with him. He does have his own journey, and it's called Bezos Climate Fund. He could expand his own financial institution, and it would be the same level as Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase Bank. I'm missing other names as well. He'll name it as Bezos Bank, add a Z and Bezos instead of an S at the end. If there were several bank accounts options, I can see him charge fees for withdrawing from your banking account. That includes starting a brand new account. If he were to own a financial institution, I would not trust him enough to handle my own money. I can see Jeff Bezos being unfair to people because he does not give people the ability to rest, if that makes sense. I can see his so called realistic financial institution getting sued because of money mismanagement. That could be deceiving your own customers. Wells Fargo has been sued several times. Again, it goes back to the way he treats his workers and how he's paying them. I have my own banking account, my savings, and my checking accounts. I can doubt that anyone can trust Jeff Bezos to handle their money when he owns a financial institution. He can give you any type of loans, whether student loans, auto loans, credit cards, or home loans. Let's say that if you borrowed loans from his bank, it could be any loans. You paid for something, you're not able to pay it back, and the interest becomes higher. I can actually see him do this to consumers. If people had a banking account from him, I bet that not a lot of people thought about it. I can also see him having his own car brand. He can also have his own car brand. If he were to own a car brand, it's possible that he wants to compete with Elon Musk. Who knows? Again, he would treat his workers poorly and not provide working protections. I don't doubt that he has kept up to date about these car trends. I'm talking about modern features. He could manufacture a simple car. He could manufacture a simple car and sell it for $100,000 when it's not a luxury car. I would not want to buy his vehicles because I can take Amazon the marketplace seriously. Imagine that if you were looking for a vehicle with a certain feature from Bezos and the navigation system cost $10,000, that would be a sign of greed. I know that features like that does not cost a lot for it to be pre-installed in brand new vehicles. Well, in luxury car brands, it does. He could compete with car brands such as Toyota, Nissan, Ford, Chevrolet, Hyundai, Honda, or other affordable car brands. I forgot Mitsubishi, Jeeps, Subarus, and Chrysler. He might as well name it Amazon. Hey, what are you looking for? I'm gonna buy a car named Amazon. What kind of car do you want? A car with automatic wheels. Do you like SUVs or sedans? SUVs. Yeah, SUVs are expensive. I can't think of a car brand name for Amazon. If he doesn't want to name it Amazon, what could he call it? Maybe something made up. Imagine he could name it Amazon and spell it as Amazon, replacing Z with an S. It would still be Amma, my son. You would not pronounce it as Amazon. Yeah, this is very laughable at best. I can't stop thinking about it at all. Tesla is a made up name. I believe that it's the way it's spelled to be made up. Toyota is not made up. The spelling is made up when Toyota first started. If he were to expand a car brand, what would the car models look like? I can see him using similar car models from major well-known car brands. I mean, I would not take him seriously when he expands a car brand with regular and luxurious models. Amazon feels like the next retailer. Their products are very desirable, or maybe he can sell perfumes and cologne. Let's see if he wants to compete with Costco, Sam's Club, and BJ's. I can also see him having his own airline company. Personally, I would not want to fly on his airline. I would not be surprised if he is in competition with these airline CEOs. I bet that the snacks on an airplane he builds would be overpriced. It would be a ripoff to fly on these airplanes. Let's see how many airlines could fly domestically and internationally. Let's talk about the name. I can see him creating his own luxury clothing line for blazers and wedding clothes that includes streetwear, apparel, and sneakers. It sounds possible for him to sell beats for $1,000 as well as a simple t-shirt, which is on the same level as Supreme and Gucci t-shirts. That includes Bape as well. I'm sure that Gucci t-shirts cost more than $60. Clothes have to be that expensive, right? Does it? Someone will want to buy a simple sweatshirt and it costs $700. Come on. Personally, I never bought streetwear apparel such as t-shirts that would cost more than $100. That is a lot of money. Most people can't afford it. He could design watches the same with Rolexes. His watches could be $6,000 or more. Rolex watches can cost more than $15,000. I never bought a Rolex watch before, I just can't afford it. In case if he wanted to sell custom-made designed watches, I also wonder how expensive his watches are and what his watches look like. What kind of ingredients will be in his perfumes and cologne? I bet that he would be using his own cologne that he is currently selling. I wonder, what kind of cologne does he use? What brand does he use? I want to talk about the presidential idea. People were talking about the idea if Jeff Bezos was running a presidential election. I formed my solid opinions about a scenario where he could run for president. I never thought about it before it came out that Jeff Bezos would step down as CEO. I just wish that I did not think about it at all. I personally do not see him standing a chance to run for president. I don't care who he would go against. He has no chance of running for president. He has no political history. He has no political connection with any politicians in the USA. If he was obsessed with running for president, why didn't he go to law school? He never went to college to study political science and law. Why didn't he study politics? I would respect it if he ran for mayor in the city. He can be a House of Representative, he can be a senator, he can be a politician, accomplish something by having a simple bill passed. He can work for a presidential administration with political history. I would doubt that he would be homeless even if he was running for president. It's possible that he can invest billions of dollars into his presidential campaign. I can't imagine that his spending habits are infinite. I would feel safe if someone studied politics and know how to run the country for a maximum presidential term limit. I feel that Jeff Bezos is a sellout. Well, he actually is. I want to know how many people will support him during his presidential race. Imagine how long he will last in the presidential election. I was thinking of a scenario where he would speak and say something about money and how he started from the bottom and made it to the top. It's possible that he could hire anyone to write a speech for him and just say it word for word. I will not put my money into supporting Bezos' presidency. I don't think that's wrong to say, Even if he did win, I would expect him to do something good. I want a president who knows how to make the economy healthy, not create a huge gap between the poor and the rich, but I can see him causing damage to the housing market. I feel that Jeff Bezos would cause lots of corruption with the tax rate. I don't want it to be a president that doesn't have political experience. We had a president who was the 45th president. He had no political experience. Before running a presidential election, he was known for having several businesses that failed. Personally, I don't want it to be a corporate president running for president because I'm not going to show my true colors for defending people that should not be defended, the corporate, greedy, rich people, especially the ones that are corrupt. We see corporate bailouts. You guys know who I'm talking about. The one with the orange face, the fake tan on his face. How many orange face tans is he going to need to make himself look good? That's what he's known for. I mean, we don't have to see his face on the billboard. I don't want to see his face in advertisements and flyers anymore. Slapping his face on billboards is a bad business move. I would be mad if someone were to slap their brand on his orange face. I would be mad if someone were to slap their brand on his face. It could have been a small business or major corporations. It could be any corporate brand. That would be a bad business move. If they did that with the stock drop, I can't tell. These people need to stop selling because that is the most embarrassing thing anyone could have done. Again, Jeff Bezos does not have any experience with running for president. Let's see what happens when Jeff Bezos has to pay fees to run an election. Imagine he gets sued for not paying people because he creates some type of events. There'll be events or rallies for people to attend to. How much can the guy with the orange face afford orange spray tans? Has he been to frequent tanning salons? He was the type of person who dogged out his previous business partners. I mean, he betrayed his own business partners. He never spent his business expenses wisely. He has been bankrupt multiple times. It's been reported that he committed money fraud in Germany. This goes back to several years. The mainstream media has been covering this a lot. He took out business loans from Deutsche Bank and never paid it back. I also wonder how many business loans he took out. He received multiple lawsuits for taking out business loans from Deutsche Bank. He belongs in prison because he lied about his personal information in order to get these business loans. There is proof about it. All he cares about is himself. No one wants to be him because it sounds stressful, especially when you run for president. Hate on me all you want, but it's the truth. It doesn't matter how good or bad it sounds. The idea of him being bankrupt and stealing money from people are documented through the affidavit. It's in the court documents. I don't know how people can trust him. That has something to do with the lack of research. He has terrible lawyers representing him. Every lawyer that represented him are in huge trouble. When it comes down to him being bankrupt, it was reported that the well-known Towers disliked the 45th president. He bought multiple hotel properties for more than $100 million. He barely made money from the property that he made during his presidency. He perpetuates the real concept that most billionaires are not trusted, but it's not my business. If Jeff Bezos were to be like the 45th president, then people are foolish enough to vote for someone like that. It would be a bad election. If he were to go up against someone who is very unlikable, then it can cause a lot of drama. It happened in US history. I would not take him seriously as a president, especially if he was running for president. I'm not buying that at all. And there are no safe precautions. I'm not hating on you. And I don't doubt that the net worth for Amazon is going to stop. That's all I have to say about that. Speaking on money, I will not go too deep with this. This is what I found out, which was reported a surge in online shopping during the coronavirus pandemic drove up the company sales 37% to $386 billion. The company reported on Tuesday. Amazon added 500,000 new employees last year, highlighting the company's explosive growth, and its profit nearly doubled to more than $21 billion. Amazon stock has soared 60% from a year ago. That jump has boosted Bezos' personal fortune, making him the second. My thing is, why would you want your employees to work during the pandemic? Wealthiest person in the world with a net worth of $188 billion. I will be taking a break. Be right back. I'm back. Let's talk about Amazon stealing tips. He is accused of stealing tip money from employees. That is Jeff Bezos. They were delivery drivers. It's very clear that he is against unions. Again, I repeated that. Maybe that is why people are treated badly in the workplace. It makes sense to connect the dots now. This follows a company facing a fine of approximately $62 million dollars for stealing the tips from Amazon Flex drivers. Initially, I did not think that these two stories were related. Right now, I think that these two stories are related. Once I heard about this, I wondered who released this story? As soon as I thought about it, I thought that maybe the workers contacted the FTC about it and they took action. Maybe it was planned for the workers to contact the FTC if they were treated badly for the first time. These new workers might have planned it. It sounds possible, so the FTC had to do something about it. When I when I initially heard about this, I was not surprised about it at all. Of course, I was shaking. I can't lie about it. Things need to be fixed with the Amazon workplace after people are being paid. The real problem is that he has not done anything to protect his workers. I just wish that he had a heart enough to protect people. Personally, I would never work in an environment where it's not unionized. This goes back to the working conditions that I heard about Amazon before and during the pandemic. Instead, I would expect it to be healthy and stable. This goes back to corporate America once again. There is such a thing as corporate bailout. Jeff Bezos is put on a pedestal because he has all of this money. That is why people have something against working for major companies. That is the dark truth of corporate America. Let me go a little in depth about corporate America. Let's not forget that there is this major gap between the rich and the working people. I feel that we are still in an apocalypse where the gap between the rich and the poor exists. That also affects the middle class. I feel that the story between stealing tips and stepping down as CEO is related. That is the primary reason why I am against working in corporate America. Amazon is one of them. I would not be happy with working for corporate America. As far as what I found out, it's toxic. It's tiring. Let's not forget how many job opportunities Amazon gave to people. I will give them that. I can't take away from that. I can take away that they are not the brightest when it comes to the treatment of the employees. I can't agree with it when people say that Amazon needs to shut down. Why does Amazon need to shut down? Not everyone works for Amazon. However, you may know people who work for Amazon. There are people who work there because it's their primary job. You can call out the way Amazon treats the workers, but you can't forget the people in your life that works for them. Where are they going to go if Amazon shuts down? Again, I can't defend Amazon, but there needs to be a change to be fair to employees. There are good reasons why people can't quit whether the conditions are safe or not. Imagine if Jeff Bezos was caught stealing money on camera and admitted to it. He was not convicted of doing something like this. Messing with people's salary, it's illegal and hurtful, but he should have been convicted. Let's not forget this part. Amazon lied to people that they were not stealing their wages. Amazon denied that part. Amazon is a huge corporation. It's not a small business. Their net worth is huge. I'm sure that their net worth is more than $1 billion. Alibaba's net worth is huge too. This tipping culture is an issue. It's an issue with the way people are being paid just because they work for someone, especially with corporate America. I figured out why people are against tipping in small restaurants. I see that to be an issue because people are not being exactly paid for their hard work. There's an issue with the law of the minimum wage. Depending where you are, the minimum wage is low. I understand that you have to make money for running your own business, but consider the people that are working for you. Can you please credit me because I did the work? I'm working for you. At least I'm putting in the work. At least I'm putting in the effort for working in the workplace. If it has not been for these people working, then the company would shut down. It wouldn't exist. It would never come back as alive. It would never come back as alive. If you did not credit me for working for you with all of my energy, you would be nothing. I learned that your business is not going to be well taken care of if people are not feeling well. In other words, they're not able to make time for themselves to rest and take care of their health. Your health goes first. People would be unemployed. Let's talk about if Jeff Bezos was a regular person. Let's say that he was not rich at all, and no one would know about him. If he was owning a small business and he was sued for not paying his employees, he would be taken straight to court. There's no doubt about it. There would be no second thoughts about it. He would lose his business and his business was shut down. It would be impossible for him to get his business back. Plus, he would not be able to get business loans, PPP loans, and EIDL loans. The typical culture is the problem as it allows companies to underpay their workers. It's not mandatory in the USA. The tipping culture in America is very flawed. I find it insulting to take away someone's tip, especially if it was not your work. The FTC said, "We're not letting this slide at all." I feel that this pandemic didn't matter to Jeff Bezos, and that's the issue that I had. It's like he's sitting back and expecting a fat payday where that check is huge. He loves these huge paychecks. I realized that it did not matter to him because he knows that he did not always have to physically come to work. What could he do without coming to work? Enjoying his day at the backyard with his own pool, let alone look at his clean swimming pool? He could be laying in his living room and watching he could be laying on his couch in his living room and watching TV all day, or he could be enjoying driving his own luxury car and driving for hours without an apology. He could be obsessed with his nice couch. He could be sleeping in his comfortable bed all day. Maybe he's lying in his bed, investing in stocks on his phone. I guess that he is obsessed with living his best life. I can't imagine that he is eating one of the most expensive meals in his house. He could be hiring one of the most experienced chefs in the world. They could be from a well-known cooking show. It could be chefs from Hell's Kitchen. He did not care if COVID-19 was serious. I'm glad that I do not work for Amazon. No disrespect. I would not feel safe working at a warehouse where there are no workplace protections. He did not care if people were tested positive for COVID-19. What else does he want from us? What else does he want from his employees? Does Amazon file their taxes for them so Amazon can benefit from their federal taxes? Stop undercutting your employees. They can't live without their paychecks. I don't want to be known for disrespecting my own employees. That can actually ruin your reputation. I would not want to have him as a business partner. I would feel uncomfortable about it. He is the main definition of money corruption where the rich, including the billionaires, get away with anything. It looks very sketchy to me. Again, be appreciative of the people that work for you. Of course, he's going to have a role at Amazon after he steps down as CEO. It was not something that I expected. I was not convinced that the warehouse was not the safest place during the pandemic. I remembered when workers struggled to balance a batch of orders with the health concerns of the virus. It has been reported that workers became very ill and sick. The workers blamed the company. I feel that the company should have been punished. I will not blame the workers for blaming the company. Unfortunately, I don't think that it will hurt Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is not worried about it at all. All he is worried about is making money. I also feel that he's stepping down because he wants to avoid the consequences, going to protect his reputation in the future. He's used to doing cover-ups, so when he is doing something wrong behind the scenes, it sounds very mysterious to me. I find it very suspicious. What is he involved in every time he's in a scandal? Well, it's coming back to haunt him. Again, he's not going to suffer that much. Not saying that Amazon is a bad company. I mean itself. It has to be the people involved that are greedy and evil. I wish that the government recognized the responsibility Amazon had on these workers earlier. If Amazon paid their employees well, then none of this trouble would be exposed. I wouldn't want to be famous because I was exploiting my workers in workplaces as the CEO. I just felt that things got lazier. There was not enough effort to make sure that people were safe in a workplace environment. If people's rights and protection is not a priority for you, then being the CEO is not the right occupation for you. You're not meant to be there. This is very similar to the work conditions with Elon Musk, the company Tesla. This was about 6 to 7 months ago. It has been reported that Elon Musk was upset that his warehouse was shut down because California made a pandemic guideline that people were not allowed to work during the pandemic. I can't agree with this strict guideline because you don't want anyone getting sick. He said that he will move his headquarters to Texas if this happens again. I think that he's doing this because he wants more money. He wants to sell his vehicles as soon as possible, not stopping anyone from wanting to sell vehicles. Teslas are relatively expensive. I mean, what is Amazon not doing to their employees? What is Tesla not doing to their employees? I feel that this was brought up later because this is a cover up. I hate it when people start doing cover ups because they are actually in trouble. He has thought that Amazon would get away with this. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos. It has been reported that Elon Musk bought a warehouse in Texas. I can't take away that he offered people jobs. It has a lot of red flags with Tesla. This is not the first time where Tesla has been accused of not taking workplace protection seriously. This was back in 2016. There are lots of narratives going around about Tesla not taking workplace protection seriously. By the way, I thought about the work conditions when I heard about Tesla. There are former workers who spoke out. People were forced to work. I found this article through Guardian, and it took time for me to find the stories. One of them said that they worked long hours. His name is Jonathan Galuscu. He said that he saw people pass out, hit the floor like a pancake, and smash their face open. He mentioned that there was a former worker of Tesla. His name is Mikey Katura, a worker on the battery pack line. He mentioned that several people, including himself, had seen coworkers collapse or be taken away in ambulances. He said that there was an associate on his line. He just kept working, kept working, kept working, and then fell on the ground. Elon Musk was defending himself against these allegations. He spoke out. There was a technician. The managers responded, "We all heard, you can't man up." Workers complained about pain to their managers. There was another person who has a disability. He spoke out. His name is Michael Sanchez. His goals were to design cars and be a technician. He has two herniated discs in his neck. He is on disability leave from work. He can no longer grip a pencil without pain. His injury occurred while he was installing a wheel. His injury was caused by the years he spent working on Tesla's assembly line. The cars he worked on were suspended above the line, and his job required looking up and working with his hands above his head all day. There is another Tesla worker who is currently on medical leave with an injury. His name is Alan Ochoa. He alleged that superiors put the production numbers ahead of the safety and well being of the employees. So back to the generalization of workplace violations at Tesla. Some Tesla workers argued that the company's treatment of injured workers discouraged them from reporting their injuries. If workers were assigned to light duty work because of an injury, they are paid a lower wage as well as supplemental benefits from workers' compensation insurance, a practice that Tesla said was in line with other employers and California law. Tesla said some injured employees are also able to undertake a modified work on regular pay. One of the production workers said, "I went from making $22 an hour to $10 an hour." He is the one that injured his back twice while working at Tesla. My thing is that no one would be hurt if the CEO cared about the safety of workplace protection. That's why I don't feel safe working in the automotive industry. Another thing happened during the pandemic in 2020, let alone last year. So let's get right into these stories that happened. Two Tesla factory workers claimed that they were fired for not returning to work over COVID-19 concerns, despite promises from Elon Musk that attendance was not mandatory. I'm sure that Tesla was aware you could spread the virus without knowing whether you have the virus or not. You could be symptomatic. How could Tesla forget about this? That's not something you should do to disregard the health of these workers. The pair of employees at the electronic automakers in Fremont, California, the factory told the Washington Post that they received termination notices for failure to return to work during the state's lockdown in May, even though they were taking unpaid leave. So that's what happened. Two of the workers spoke out during the pandemic. Their names are Carlos Gabriel and Jessica Nero. They said that they believed that they were targeted for expressing concerns about working conditions at the plant at a June 15th news conference, even though Musk told employees to not feel obligated to come back to the factory floor if they feel uncomfortable. Tesla previously pressured workers to go back to the factory and start building cars that they risk their unemployment benefits or by staying home. Once you are called back, you will no longer be on furlough. So if you choose not to work, it may impact your unemployment benefits as determined by your local government agency and not by Tesla. That's the email that employees read. That's the email that these employees received. And that's what it said in the email if you choose not to work. In the email, it also said that they completely respect their decision and will completely support them without the penalties. From Tesla, it was reported that registrations of newly purchased Tesla cars in California reportedly fell nearly 40% in April and May 2020, thanks largely to the strict quarantining measures put in place by the state to halt the spread of the coronavirus. I want to say that these employees were threatened to lose their jobs. I would not like that at all. That should not be taken lightly. I don't take well with threats when my livelihood depends on a job that I'm passionate about or a job that I need. I see lots of deceitfulness in the workplace. You can't tell someone that they don't have to show up for work and then fire these people without communicating with them. It can also be about a job that I need, whether it's a corporate job or not. It's very clear that this pandemic was not taken seriously if people were forced to go to work. You can't force me to go to work at all. I feel that the FTC should have punished Elon Musk because what they did was wrong. I'm glad that I was not in the CEO's shoes because I would hate to lose money for damages. That's what it was. I wish that the federal government would recognize these violations of the workplace protection. It's not just the dangers, it's about how these employees were not being paid properly. If Jeff Bezos can get away with stealing tips from employees, I can imagine Elon Musk doing the same thing too. I also wonder what are the work benefits that Tesla offers to these employees before and during the pandemic. Jeff Bezos needs to eat some humble pie. I mean, some big humble pie. So can Elon Musk because they both care about being rich and not taking care of their employees working for them. When is Elon Musk going to know how to eat some humble pie? Just know how to accept responsibility for how people are part of your workplace and how safety is making an impact on these employees. There's no such thing as expensive humble pie, cheap humble pie does not exist. I hope that I'm not wrong. It's a lie. In case if Elon Musk were to step down as CEO, he's going to do fine. People are going to do their jobs regardless. I would respect it if things were done sooner because no one would have these problems. In addition, there will be little to no complaints. I have not seen Elon Musk apologizing to the former or current workers that were hurt. I haven't seen it at all. I want to wrap this episode up before I go. Jeff Bezos will always be rich. Amazon will always be rich. Amazon will never shut down. I doubt that it will happen. I doubt that it will go anywhere, so it's always going to be in business. All of the other major companies, including Tesla, will always be rich. They're going to be fine. I realized how dangerous and exploitative Amazon work culture is. I can't get mad at the idea of protesting. They are protesting for their workers' rights and workplace protection. It would suck to work for a major corporation and you're not treated fairly. It would also suck to be told that you don't have to show up to work, then later on you are fired for being absent in a workplace. There is no way that it's not illegal. This should not be a question. I realize that these corporations are not fair because they care about the money. Most of these corporations are focused on putting higher position people on a pedestal while the workers are not given credit when credit is due. There needs to be a change with the workplace so people are safe to show up for work. No one is showing up to play at all. This is not a game. No one is working for free. I just wish that there's no such thing as working for free. Unfortunately, it's real. I would be mad to work for free when I need to eat and pay my own bills. I would have to pay my own mortgages, internet bill, phone bill, car insurance, and health insurance. I would feel discredited for working for free. There is a difference between an exploitative and bad person. Jeff Bezos is an exploitative person. It's no secret that he's evil. Stealing tips from employees is evil enough. I was still thinking about I was still thinking about what if he made up the things he did to the employees, do something right for these people that he did wrong. I mean former employees. The ones he stole tips from and wrongly terminated workers for unionizing and not being able to show up for work for good reasons. He changed lots of people's lives. It's not my apology for me to accept because I never worked for Amazon. If the apology is not good for those who went through hell, then this company needs to be revamped and take workplace protection seriously. He should be the one to amend things with the former employees. I want to say that he impacted people's lives in a good way and a bad way. Let's not forget that part. I would not trust Jeff Bezos anything that he pursues. I would not trust Jeff Bezos if he said that his purpose is to help people, I mean, he caused more harm than good. I would not trust Jeff Bezos if I were to expand my own business and he wants to give me funding for my own business. I would not know if he would give me grant money or private business loans. I don't want your help. Therefore, I'm good and I don't need your help at all. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is. If even if he claims that he's benefiting the regular people and no one is going to care, I would not believe one word that comes out of his mouth. I also think that Jeff Bezos is stepping down as CEO because he knows that he is responsible for the damage that he caused within the workplace. He knows that he does not want to suffer more legal lawsuits for damages of the workplace and Amazon. I think that he suffered enough burdens. I'm not mad at him for wanting to pursue other dreams that he had. He has other things in his agenda. I'm not hating that he's successful and he's a billionaire. I don't know if he's more than a billionaire. I mean, screw him. If he chooses to lose the status of being a billionaire because he loses $1 billion, then screw him. I honestly doubt that things will change for the better with Amazon. At this point, I'm going to continue to buy stuff from Amazon without thinking about Jeff Bezos. I can handle that for sure. Every time I buy stuff from Amazon, I just pretend that he does not exist. In other words, he's a ghost to me. No one is going to stop me from buying stuff from Amazon. I only buy stuff from Amazon if I need things at an affordable price. Quality also matters. If the product has good reviews, then I would buy it. If a product has negative feedback, then I don't buy it at all. However, I don't pay for Prime at all. I know that I never paid for Prime. I find it pretty pointless, especially since I never used Prime Amazon, but I'm not going to drive a Tesla of my own. They're not my type of cars, but I'm not hating. I'm not saying stop building cars. I'm not saying shut down Tesla because, again, there are people who work there and people have a passion with cars. I know people who love driving Teslas. In other words, there are people who want to drive a Tesla. I can't hate on people at all. I already got the feeling that Jeff Bezos forgot where he came from. Same with Elon Musk. Overall, I would not want business entrepreneurship advice from corrupt rich people. I'm not going to forgive myself for it. They can be controversial too, while not all controversial people are bad. However, it should not be someone who is too controversial. I can't expect perfection from anyone at all. That's not going to work with me. I could care less if Jeff Bezos listened to this podcast. It sounds like he does not take the time to listen to podcasts at all. I doubt that he would know me through the podcast. I would never interview him at all. Not in the future. It's never my desire to do so. It would be weird to see him in real life. That is completely fine with me. I mean, on a daily basis for him. This is all I have for this episode for this week. I wish that I can go long about this for this episode. Don't forget to join this podcast for future episodes if you have not done so. Thank you guys for listening to this episode, especially to the new listeners. I enjoyed speaking on this episode. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I also want to know, how do you guys feel about Amazon being sued approximately $62 million for stealing tips from workers? I will be speaking in the next episode.